This is your host and host Neha Chauhan, founder AeroBay. On today's very special episode of the AeroBay podcast, we have a very special person amongst us. Welcome Mr. B.S. Yadav, he's principal of DPS Jodhpur. It's our honor to have you today with us, sir. And because you've been part of the education world from such a long time, I'm really sure that this podcast can be a very good learning point for all the age group, not only students, even the new parents or principals, teachers, everybody, because education is something we start, our first step from, and it never ends. It's a never ending process. So welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us on today's podcast.
Thank you, and thank you all my viewers. Basically, what she had just mentioned, there is too much about me, but yes, of course, I've been with the children for quite long, for about 42 years, rather more than 42 years. I started my teaching career or maybe learning journey in the year 1982 from with a school like in Delhi, and it continues till date. And the children have taught me many things. And I think I'm slightly better person than what I would have been in case I was not with the kids in the school education system. So that's it.
So 42 years is a very long time. And and education has evolved so much. I mean, 1982 you mentioned.
Yes.
I think I was not even born during that time. So what we know, there has so many changes. We see in the pattern of education, in our textbook, in our teaching process. But when we see someone like, I want to ask this question because from your perspective, because you are inside this whole infrastructure, how do you see education evolving? If we just talk about on Indian level, Indian education level.
Okay. See, when I joined a school as a teacher,
Right.
it was like we would go to the classroom and start teaching, and we were taught the same way. Most of the time, teachers were the ones who were speaking more than what we would do. But in the last 42 years, what I've seen, that now we give a lot of opportunity to our children to speak.
Right.
The teachers really provoke them to learn more and to come out with certain information or ideas which they find very much appropriate as per the day.
Right.
When it comes to, I keep coming across certain questions, how have the behavior of the children really changed over a period of time? I don't find it too much of a change. I don't know, despite the fact that sometimes this also happens there. Like if you are with a person always, you don't see that change in that person so well as an outsider can see. So maybe it is like this, that I have been so much involved with the kids that there would have been some change, some difference in their approach towards life and towards their teachers and parents.
Right.
But as an individual, I didn't see much. Only the way of expressing things would have changed.
Right.
When people say in today's time that the children don't listen to the teachers and parents in today's time, many of them,
Yes.
I don't agree with them.
Okay, sir.
They listen.
They listen.
They listen. Only thing is that you have to speak to them, you have to talk to them in such a manner that they listen to you.
Right. So this has been a very big problem. Not sure na such hai in सब में, but they think, I listen often from so many people. They say there's no hope for the younger generation. They have a very short attention span. Is this correct?
No, I would not agree once again with that.
Right.
The only issue is that when we say that we had a longer concentration period with us, and today children don't have. When we say short span, that is the meaning by that.
Right.
See, that time there were not many things available to us.
True.
So if we were having one thing, we were okay with that. If there was one toy, we were knowing it won't come to us another maybe 6 months or 1 year or whatever it is. So we were okay with that. So our parents felt like we are fine with one thing and all that. But nowadays, children are, they have many things available to them.
Right.
Suppose if I take the case of generation G or Alpha or Z, whatever you call it, they always go for, they eat pizza, they eat this and that. We did never eat. It's not good. Who created it for them? They were not the ones responsible for. If my child gets an access to pizza today or something which we don't call healthy,
Right.
who has done it for them?
Right.
It wasn't available to us, hence we didn't go for it. It's available to them. He goes.
You're absolutely correct. I never thought about it in that way. We are the one actually who are providing them
Yes.
these kind of things. Like see, you so many young parents, agar if some child is crying, they give them a tab.
Yes.
And then they complain they don't go and play outside.
That's a big problem. It's a big problem, and these are the children who are suffering because of this, and they are the ones who are being blamed.
Right.
I don't agree with this. I mean, somebody else has got to be blamed, either the ones who are the innovator or creator of this, or the ones who are the providers of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you are providing the child with a mobile just for the sake of, like you want to do some work and you want child to be sitting quietly and not disturbing you, that time it is okay watching that video. But when the child is wanting to watch a video, then it is bad.
Absolutely.
How
yeah.
can it be so?
Yeah, so I mean they are coming into this habit because we are providing them all these different options.
Yes.
They naturally get to incline toward all of these distractions.
Yes. And another thing I would like to share with you, I firmly believe when people say that children don't respect elders nowadays,
Right.
I would vehemently oppose it.
Right.
They have respect for their parents, they have respect for their teachers. Only thing is, and nothing wrong with that, that in today's time children speak.
Right.
If they don't feel comfortable, if they don't agree with something,
Right.
they put forward their point of view.
Right.
And what's wrong in that?
Right.
In our case, I would like to know all from who are from my age group, or maybe 10 years younger to me. I mean, think about yourself. When you were scolded by your parents or by your teachers, did you like it? Nobody liked it.
Nobody liked it. Yes.
Only thing was that you could not say it.
We were
Whereas
not
speak. Whereas today's child, we allow the child to speak, and I would agree with that. So they are respectful, and they always love us.
Right.
That is.
Definitely, sir. So that's a good thing for the student. So there's a constant debate in terms of whether we should go to university, whether we should not go to university. There is this Elon Musk, like the biggest, one of the most successful entrepreneur. He says on one side that, even if you don't have university degree, you have a good skill, I will hire you in Tesla or SpaceX. But at the same time, there is this constant race and competition among students that if you don't go to very good university, don't clear those competitive exams, you have no future holds. So we are very confused. The generation is very confused. Should we do it? Should we not do it? What do we do about it?
It will all depend upon what is your aim to, what is your vision, what is your why. When I say why, I always talk about why.
Why?
Why?
That's
Start with your why. This
Right.
is one book written by, I'm forgetting the name of the gentleman just now, but start with why and know
I
your
think
why.
it was Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek probably
I
is the
think-
one. Yeah, Simon
Yes, Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek. And I'm
Yes.
very fond of these books.
Yes.
I may not agree with everything which he mentions in
Yeah.
that, but then definitely it's very, very important to know what I'm happily doing, what I'm doing and feel happy also
Right.
doing that. So I should do that. So it is not necessary that I should go for a university job if I
Right.
can have certain those skills which can help me to develop it further by doing that work only. And if the university is not allowing me to do that,
Okay.
and if the university is giving me an exposure, further exposure into that, nothing
Right.
wrong in doing. So it's up to an individual. I mean, it can't be applied to everyone the same way. It
Right.
will all depend, because if I want to learn more about how to make the lives of our children a little more comfortable, so I'd
Right.
like to learn it either from an individual or from a university to doing that.
Right. So there is no set pathway that we should follow this or
Or
that.
not necessarily.
It's just we have to figure out what do we want.
What do I want? So I can give you an example here. I mean, not necessarily. Sometimes not going to the university would help somebody.
Right.
Like I have an example to share with, and I sought permission from that student of mine
Right.
who used to study in that school, and he was good in computer science, very good
Right.
in computer science, right from, and this I'm talking of the years between 2000 and 2008. So he passed out in 2007 from the school. And when he was being admitted in class 11th, as he didn't get good marks in class 10th, so as per the policy of the school, he wasn't getting to that merit of getting science subject.
Okay.
So he wasn't allowed basically. And then he had to move out of the school, went to some other school, wasn't happy there at all. And ultimately approached us again that no, I can't study in that school. I want to be here only, but I want science. Because I can't do anything else. Because my
Difficult
computer
case
science.
scenario.
So, because he wasn't getting to merit, I had to seek permission, special permission from my management to admitting him as a special case in class 11th in science. But as the luck would be, he wasn't good at physics or mathematics at all. Computers, he would do exceedingly well without even a teacher.
Right.
And then ultimately, when he was in class 12, he could manage to go to class 12 or was made to go to class 12 by the teachers. When he appeared in class 12, ultimately what happened, he failed in 3 subjects, physics, chemistry and mathematics. Could
main
manage to
three
pass
subjects.
in computer science very well and English. Now, after this, the parents were, of course, not happy. I was also asked questions by some people, why did a child fail? And I knew why did he fail, because he didn't have any interest in physics, chemistry, mathematics. He was all the time involved in computer. So he went to a place near Delhi and he started working with one of his relatives who was into developing softwares and for other things for companies. After 6 months, he moved out from there and set up his own company. As on today,
Brilliant.
as on today, he is heading a company with other founders which has 500 employees. And he's absolutely happy with that. And one day when he came to meet me after it was done, he said, "Sir, it was good I failed in class 12th. Had I not, my parents would have put me in some engineering college. I would have wasted another 4 years in college and would not have been able to achieve what I could do in those 4 years, which would have been a waste for me in college." So it was one decision, good decision for this child, but it may not be so for every child.
Right, right.
So it will all depend upon if I am really more curious and inquisitive to knowing more about this further, or I'm okay and will develop it on my own.
Right. So you have touched on actually very important point through this child example, because with so many of us, because it's not about university or no university, so many of us this thing does happen that because of peer pressure we go into certain thing. I remember, so I went to London to did my post graduation aerospace, right? And I wanted to, I mean, I remember in my second year of degree I wanted to have gist of, toward a bit of entrepreneurship, and I wanted to start something on my own because I was really good in manufacturing, but I couldn't do it. I had to finish my 7 year of degree. I had to do undergrad, postgrad, and then go work in so many companies. And then after spending so many years, I had some courage to come back and tell my parents that, I want to come back and start something in the sector of education, experiential learning. So I feel considering more student having opportunity from some people like you could be a helping hand with so many people like us, who can actually build a very strong future of India. But again, then, sir, because you believe in all of those things, so you provided that opportunity to the student. Not everyone believes in that.
People would have thought that why should I have a child who might fail, and people will say that in this school.
Do you think more school principals and teachers should be open towards this, or it's not possible?
No, this is very much possible. I mean, only issue is that I could, because when we talk of competition, I always say competition is very, very important.
Yes.
But to me, cooperation is more important.
Right.
And if this competition can be some way made in such a manner that it is just not a pressure on somebody to be number one. Because I was talking to somebody very recently that when we play against each other, and this example is very important to me, even if we are the classmates, but if we are in the opposite teams, then I forget about that he or she had been my friend just 5 minutes back before we entered that arena.
Right.
And I start thinking negative about the person. The person should do well. And I heard people saying, "Oh no, she won't be able to do, he won't be able to do, don't worry about it." And in cricket match, we keep listening that wicketkeeper saying something.
Right.
So I always tell people that, okay, you should really act upon your strengths in spite of acting on somebody else's weaknesses.
Right.
So you must know even if you don't know the weakness of somebody, it would be okay. But if you don't know your strength, then it's a problem. It's a problem. So know about the weakness of somebody, but just don't work only on that. Work upon your strengths first and then on somebody's weakness if you want to. But not having any negative or ill feeling even for your competitor.
Right. Because that doesn't help. Because
That
that's
doesn't
it's
help.
just a in our head.
Exactly.
It's not you yourself. I mean, you can compare yourself little bit, but it has to be in a very healthy way.
Healthy one.
Right?
That's why healthy competition word.
Healthy competition.
But
is
the
there.
healthy is gone.
Only competition is left out, and everybody is doing some kind of rat race nowadays.
Yes.
That everybody want to become better than the other person.
Another thing, if you allow me to say, is that
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Whenever we study, our parents spend a lot of money on our education and all that. They try to make us worth getting what we say in Hindi. At least whatever we want in our
Yes.
life, we are able to earn that much. So employability is important.
Oh,
That earning to living your life comfortably is important. But whenever the sole aim becomes that is again a problem for me.
right.
Because to me, education, and particularly school education, is not only making you worth earning something out of it, but making you aware of your strength, making you aware of the skills which you would require in your future life, which may be very difficult at times. It comes. Difficulties come without any warning at times, like
Absolutely.
Corona came. And all those who had those soft skills, emotional control on themselves, to which we call as emotional intelligent,
Right.
and had less money, survived.
Right.
A lot of money could not make people to survive in that very chaotic situation.
Great. So, sir, according to you, so money doesn't rule our world? Like, is it because people think, I mean, that's a very important society stigma that money is very important. If you don't have money, your relative doesn't talk to you. You don't have that certain position in the society. You don't have the same kind of friend. So, money changes on so many level how you see yourself, a person on that particular position. How do we deal with that?
No, money is, and I will once again not say that money is not important. With money, you can do lot many good things for the people who do not have money.
Can we buy happiness from money?
Not at all. Not at all. It has been proven by research by most of the people that having so much of money is never going to make a happier person.
Right.
You remain the same, and this is again a fact that it was a research done that and most of these such researches are done in US or those countries. So it is related to that, and they have found, again I'm forgetting the name of researcher, numbers I can remember, names I tend to forget, that if you are earning around 40,000 USD a year
In a year.
and you increase that earning to around 70,000 rupees, it has been found that there has been some increase in the level of happiness. But once you have reached that 70,000, 75,000 a year, and now you make 120,000, 120 or whatever it doesn't increase happiness at all.
Yeah, with that number, your happiness graph is not increasing.
Not going to
There
increase.
is no.
Up to some extent, I mean, I don't need to be absolutely poor. I mean, that remaining poor is not necessarily going to make me happy. But then, once I have achieved some sort of, but that limit is never realized by the
So
people.
that graph become kind of constant.
Constant, yes.
Right. Because if money was directly contributed or proportional to your happiness, then all the billionaires would have been
Would
happy.
have been
right?
happy. But look at their personal life. You'll find all of them
Very chaotic and
chaotic,
they're not very
more
peaceful and
unhappy, more stressed than the someone who would not be having any money.
Right. Absolutely, sir. Sir, for the 20-year-old kid who's watching you today and who wants to be successful at the life, one advice would you like to give them?
No, for you, you should remember what success means for you. I mean, that's very, very important. Until unless you understand what success is. For me, success is to be with the kids and helping them and motivating them to explore best out of them and enjoy that best. That best can be anything. That can be debating skills. That best can be some games and sports. That
Right.
best can be helping people. I mean, there are children of age group 11, 12, 13 who are so much concerned about the ones who are not having that much as their parents have provided them. So, if that makes you happy and successful, I mean, do that. So, you know what you would make you happy. Once you decide that, do wholehearted effort to achieve that. Then don't really compromise. Then don't be miser in that. Make 10 times efforts to achieve that.
Right.
In If you whichever are-
domain you are in.
In whichever. I mean, it should not be like I can't do that and I'm making 10 times efforts. Of course, I'll succeed, but I will not be succeeding or being successful that much as I would be in my why, if I know my why. I was
Right.
talking about.
Right.
So, and feel happy. Even if you achieve 5%, feel happy. Don't
Right.
achieve 100% today itself. Because if you achieve 100% today, I mean, you're going to be in trouble. And I
Right.
keep telling Neha, if you were a student of my school, I would have told you never to get first position in class 2 or 3 or 4. Get
Right.
10th position. So that next year when you get 9th position, parents are happy.
Parents are.
When you get 8th position, they are happier.
That's a very interesting way to actually look, because if you have already reached their level,
And next time, because there is nothing beyond 100%.
Right.
So if you get 99 next year, everybody will be feeling bad.
Right.
So success will depend upon what you perceive in your mind.
And is there any shortcut to it, sir?
No, there are
There's
no.
no shortcut to
Absolutely no.
success.
Only hard work and passion to achieving that is the short
Right.
for that. Yeah.
Passion is very, very important,
Very,
no
very
matter what you do, in which domain you go to.
Exactly.
Sir, my last question is, according to you, is because India is developing so much, so many industries are coming in the India, but still there is constant comparison in terms of the foreign university. Should we go outside study? Should our Indian students stay inside India only? Or what's the dynamic looks like?
What I've been suggesting is that we are getting now the campuses from the foreign universities also, which are so, but we have indigenous good universities in India.
Right.
And but I would still say that nothing wrong in getting exposure outside,
Yes.
but if we can do it after graduation. So till graduation you do it here, post graduation or specialization you can go somewhere
Then you can
else.
go for an experience.
Yeah, and my desire would be, and strong desire would be, that most of our children are taking risks, so-called risk, and doing their own startups.
Right.
And they're people from IIMs and IITs. They're coming together and setting up good universities and schools in India. So more number of people should join that, so that our people don't go outside just to learn, because there are lot many things which are as per the place where you are staying. What we would be learning there may not have necessarily the same requirement as we do have it here in our country.
Absolutely.
And we are more obliged to doing more things for our country
Right.
than doing it for somebody else.
Right. So very beautiful thoughts, sir. So I feel on today's podcast we learned many things. The first one was find your why. Because
Yes.
if you find your why, you can figure out many different things in your life. The second thing which sir has mentioned is about finding your passion and hard work, of course. And there is no shortcut to
There is no short. Absolutely.
Right. Right.
So, and see, in this case, everybody, and I'm again not saying for the sake of saying, no child, no parent should feel it that way, that everybody says the same. I have seen it, and there would have been many teachers, principals who would have seen it. I mean, so-called average, below average children in the school, they are doing exceedingly well in their life. The ones who were good are doing good, no doubt about it. They were too good, do good. But there were so many to whom people said, "Kya karega?" And that "kya karega" is doing so well. "Kya karegi" is doing so well. And people did say, "Oh, you could do that." Because every child, everyone, for sure have best of things in them. Only thing is that sometimes, that example which everybody gives, that if you ask fish to climb a tree,
It won't
can
happen.
she? Otherwise, she can be there in water
Right.
exceedingly well. So you have to find out, and the parents have got to be supportive in that.
Right, absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. I feel the conversation and the time is not enough. We need to have another follow-up podcast with sir sometime in future soon. And once again, thank you so much for coming on to our
Thank you very
podcast.
much. Thanks.
I hope you guys learned so much today from this episode. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.